And that is the number one question you've got to ask yourself if you're going to participate in Sundaeswap. Welcome to Perry Unlikely. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? But at least take time to hit the like button. It definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. And for that, I will forever appreciate you. Now, I do not like announcements about announcements, but that's kind of what we got. Sundaeswap has just released an article, and here's what they said. We've been pretty quiet with our heads down preparing for the mainnet launch. You can expect a very exciting announcement in the next few days. So there you go. Sundaeswap is going to announce the actual launch date in the next few days. Now, why I think it's good that they put this article out and this information is because clearly Sundaeswap is trying to temper your expectations. Now, they do expect an exciting launch, but obviously with something this big coming out, usually things don't go off without a hitch. So they just don't want you to expect it to be 100% easy peasy. So that's what we're going to go over. Pretty simple information, but it's information that is important. So let's get into it. One thing I do want to mention from a previous article that I haven't updated you on yet is Runtime Verification did complete their audit. The Sundaeswap team did find out the different various issues that there were with the protocol, and they've had time to address and fix any of those concerns. So that is good. So that was in the month of December that the audit was complete. Now in the article, they point out that during the testnet, there was a backlog. So anybody who participated in the testnet, I'm sure had some sort of an issue. I did on different occasions, and I definitely had some issues, but it did get better as time went on. So they did point out that this backlog partially was because of the fact, in terms of the scoopers, they were actually fixing things as things went on. So that's what caused some of the backlog and orders and just with the system in general. So that is one thing that I do like about the Sundaeswap team. Personally, as far as a protocol or a team project, however you want to say it, the communication on this project has probably been the best that I've ever seen, honestly. I'll say Cardano in general, right? They have great communication as well. Charles Hoskinson, always answering questions, always giving updates. So Sundaeswap is following suit. So I do like to see that. They go on to point out that during the testnet, the congestion that you saw is not actually a bad thing. And the reason why is there is going to be some amount of congestion when a protocol is being used to this extent. And the reason why it's okay is, well, it may have slowed things down, but it did not crash, right? So that's a good thing. There are natural things within the system that you expect to see. And quite frankly, as I mentioned it a bunch of times, just like with Uniswap, things do get bogged down. It does take time to process transactions, and it's not going to be any different with this project, at least for the startup of it. Now, things may get better as times go on, but that's just a reality of almost any project out there, certainly with this much hype around it. Now, here's where the kind of the moment of truth is. They have a statement that says, you know, with the launch of Sundaeswap Mainnet right around the corner, it's going to be hard to predict what the load is going to be. And that's just the truth. So that's kind of what I was just talking about. We're going to just have to work through it. It's going to be busy, and we have to work through that. So that's the first part of them tempering your expectations. If you think you're going to hop on and it's just going to be easy, well, you have another thing coming. Here's 4 things that Sundaeswap Labs points out that are going to be different about the mainnet than the testnet. And they're kind of simple to understand for the most part, I think, but I want to name them anyway. First, with the mainnet, much lower barrier to entry. Now, doing the testnet, you kind of had to go through some hoops and do some different things to really actually be able to effectively use it. Well, once it goes to the mainnet, not the case. You got your ADA, you basically hop on the site, it's in your wallet, and you're ready to go. So because of that barrier to entry being lower, expect more congestion, more activity, more transactions in general. So that's pretty easy to see. Number 2, with the mainnet, there's a greater incentive to get involved in it. Obviously, a lot of us did want to participate in the testnet, and we did, but a lot of people didn't. You know, a lot of people figured, hey, let's just get on when it starts up. And for that reason, you're going to see it amped up a lot more. Why is that? Well, capitalism. They're going to have a chance to make money, right? Real money. Not make test ADA, but make the real deal. So I think that one's pretty self-explanatory as well. Number 3, there is a greater risk for losing your money. Now, that's pretty easy to see, because if you lost test ADA, you weren't going to be upset. If you lose your real ADA, probably going to be a little disappointed. By the way, I'm going to take this time to let you know I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So make sure before you do invest that you do your own research and you seek the help of a financial advisor. Number 4, Sundaeswap will now be sharing the bandwidth with other projects. So that's going to be different. That's another area where we don't really know what to expect, but we hope that Cardano does work within the capacity it's supposed to. By the way, they recently did up the parameters of the network 12.5%, which that's what Cardano is supposed to do. So ultimately, Cardano should be able to scale up as needed. So we got a couple of bullet points from the article that are really what you honestly want to pay attention to. I'm going to point those out, and that should do it. After that point, we'll basically be waiting for them to give us the launch date in the next few days. First, expect it to be backlogged in some fashion similar to the testnet. That's just a reality of it. So I do think, as I stated earlier, some of those things are going ahead and getting out of the way to temper your expectations. There's going to be some backlogs. Not a surprise to me, because I see it on Uniswap to this day. Next, something that's extremely key is to be as transparent as we can. We want to inform you all that while orders including swapping, providing liquidity, and withdrawing liquidity may take days to process, everybody's order will be processed fairly and in the order they were received. So that's really the big one. Some of the orders could take days to process. So if you're going to participate in this, just go ahead and understand that right from the jump. But at least you're reassured, because I know a lot of people are going to ask that question. What's going to happen? Well, they'll be processed in the order that they were received in. So though it may take a couple days, your order is going to be processed. So at least you know that. Next, because I know this is going to be asked a lot, you will be able to cancel your order as long as it is before it's been processed by a scooper. So remember that. You can cancel it, but it's got to be before it's processed. So keep that in mind. That's something that I've been asked by multiple people in previous videos that I've put out. So it is good to know that. Next, they said that they will be building a feature to inform users on what the current backlog is. Now, I do like that, because even though they're giving you a heads up about the backlogs, let's face it, it can be frustrating. You just want to put your order in and move on and try to get those gains. But at least they're putting a feature in place so that you know what the backlog is. So that just goes to show you again, they really are dedicated to the community. And I think that's going a step above and beyond. So hopefully they continue to do things like that. Next, they do go on in the article to talk about a vote and just the general consensus of the community and decentralization. But they do point out something that I was a little surprised about, and that is second layer scaling solutions such as Hydra will help with transaction speeds and making them quicker. So I was interested, certainly because it is scalable. The mentioning of a second layer solution was a bit of a surprise to me, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's all about the transactions and being able to process them, and a protocol that's going to be this high in demand. To me, whatever it takes to get the transactions processed and cut down on errors is the way to go. So those are the main points of the article. They wanted to inform the community. I think it's good that they did. A question that I have is, how long are you willing to wait if you're going to participate in this project to see the ADA that you put in go to the moon? And that is the number one question you've got to ask yourself if you're going to participate in Sundaeswap. Because at the end of the day, it does take patience. In the way the market's been lately, it's been a slow drain. Everyone in crypto right now has some decisions to make, but those who are willing to look at it from a long-term perspective, in my opinion, those are the people who will win. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Thank you for tuning in and watching Perry Unlikely. Make sure, do me a favor, it's absolutely free. Hit the like button. Also hit the bell for notification if you want to stay up to date on the latest content that I drop. And also share my video. That's probably the number one thing that you can do to help the channel is share it and consider subscribing. And I will see you next time.